that's obviously, you're talking about building a community within the house too, right?
Yeah.
So, and is that a difficult situation to transition then from an environment where, because I'm not really familiar with the socialization of your child, for instance, or children in that situation. Is that going to be a difficult situation, you think, for them to adjust to?
I would think it could be for some. My wife and I, before she died, had Vicky assessed by a psychologist who said Vicky will have no trouble because she's very social. Now, all children don't have that luxury. I think you have to play it by ear, child by child, parent group by parent. The parents will be a big part of this too.
I just want to take the opportunity to remind the viewers we're watching Municipal Matters here on TV Cogeco. I'm Dave Glover, and joining me are representatives of Keystone House. You've probably seen the signs up throughout Cobourg, I know, and Port Hope and in the county. These gentlemen are Bill Patchett, who is the fundraising chair of Keystone House. I want to reintroduce Bill Thompson, the co-chair and the board of directors for Keystone House, and Bill Johnson, who is a parent. And this is obviously something that you helped create, and so you're one of the fathers of Keystone House, if you will, for coming up with this. And it's an incredible concept, but there is a lot of details. Obviously, because right now we're talking about building the home and putting that together, which is a huge concept in itself. And you said, it could cost upwards of $1 million. But again, if you can get in-kind donations, but it's really so much more than just building the house, isn't it? We're talking about creating a space. And maybe you could talk a little bit more about what's been thought of in terms of creating the space itself. Has there been any thought about that?
Oh yeah, lots of thought. What we have is the benefit of several, but especially Campbellford Association's houses that they have built, and they've put together one house on 50 Road up north of Campbellford that has literally 5 apartments on one floor, and they're complete apartments in themselves. They have Chesterfield, chairs, a dining area, kitchen, bedroom, separate bathroom for each of the 5 units that they have there. Then they have, as Bill says, a respite on the lower level, and it can be utilized very well by people.
It's too bad more people couldn't see that home.
Yeah.
My son, who was shooting some video for us in the house, came out of there with tears in his eyes. One of the ladies who lived there said, "Would you please photograph my room? I've never had my own room before."
That's incredible.
It's a heart-rendering thing to go in and see this. And it's also encouraging because when you see how well-run and how well-equipped that home is, there is hope.
And no, that's a home run under the banner of community living then?
Yes, Campbellford, Brighton.
And I guess you're getting a lot of support, or I guess as much support as they can give you from community living and in terms of what is going to be needed here at Keystone House.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are you getting input from the residents or the potential residents themselves on what they'd like to see? Has there been any talk about that?
We will. It's a little early to get input because we don't know who the residents are going to be. There's a process that has to be gone through, and hopefully that process will be completed before the building is, so that some of the things that people that are actually going to live in there might be met. Now, you talk about problems within it. You take the 4 of us and the cameraman, and all of a sudden we're living in the same apartment. Well, you can imagine some of the problems that would arise. And so if you take 4...
Sounds like a situation comedy, Bill.
Yeah, right. You take people who have particular challenges and then put them in the same house, albeit for the most part they can be separate when they want. They can have the privacy of their room and so on. But there are many things that we just take for granted every day. Although any of us that have a wife or live with someone, we know that you're always thinking of the other person. And it's maybe not always happening that way with folks with some challenges. So there's a lot to think about.
Is there a specific process that you have in mind then at Keystone House as to how this is? Because again, that really is an important aspect of building the home. And it's probably not a bad idea to know who the potential residents are going to be, so that you know what customization is. Because really, what Keystone House is customized living for these folks, right?
What we have to go through is a process that is in the Tri-County area, and there are certain requirements, and we've invited as many of these 80 families as want to put in an application, and they will all be checked and looked into, and it will be decided by a committee for choosing the people. So I think especially the Campbellford Association has enough experience with the homes that they already have under their building process, that they know a lot what needs to be put in. But then maybe Bill wants something different, or Vicki wants something different. So we really want to get that input, but it's a slow process, and I think that's one of the things that Mr. Patchett has a problem with, the slow process, because you have to go through a board, and Colin Sanders, who is a parent and one of the founders of the organization, he's the co-chair, and I'm the co-chair. Well, he used to be the chairman, but he hates board meetings. He hates sitting there and having go through all this material. So I was appointed to be co-chairman, and I run the board. And he, as I say, he goes out and does the kissing the babies and introducing out into the community. So we have processes that we have to follow. We just can't say, good old Bill, he's raised